the silence of this moment, I can feel your presence near, holding every broken piece, wiping every hidden tear. When the night was cold and lonely, you were standing by my side. Through the storms that tried to break me, you became my place to hide. Every road I walked in darkness, every fear I couldn't face, you kept calling me so gently. Now I'm wrapped in your grace. You never left me, you never changed. Your love kept reaching through all my pain. I'm wrapped in your grace, covered in mercy, held by your love every day. No matter how far, no matter. Here we go, here we go. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you all on this Worship Wednesday in June. And I believe today is June 17th. What a day that the Lord has made. June 17th. And this is the day that the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it. You should be glad to be in the number one more time. God woke you up this morning to give you a new day. Rejoice and be glad in it. We don't know what could have happened yesterday, but God still allowed us to live to see another day. So we thank Him for goodness, mercy, favor, and grace. Stay wrapped in His grace. So before I get into the conversation, let me get into our Father's prayer. Like I said, I can't start without asking the Father to protect me throughout the day. Not only just protect me from injuries or anything else of that nature, like physical injuries or physical altercations or anything of that nature. I'm talking about people to come around me with good spirit. No bring nobody around me with drama. That also can be someone you could get into and can just make you lose your temper. You understand what I'm saying? Because right now, the climate of white supremacy and the boldness is high. And we know that. We know that somebody is going to encounter on this day, maybe on their job, maybe out on the street, maybe traveling, whatever. You might run into a white supremacist, or you might run into anybody that can just make you step out of your square. And this is why it's so important to prepare your mind for what you're going to challenge for today. You never know what you're going to hear on the news today about some tragedy. You never know what's going to happen about the United States right now with the Iran and Israel, and the United States got themselves into it too. And just all of this climate around politics. You just don't know what's going to happen for your day. This is why I say we got to pray and ask God for His protection in the universe, in the atmosphere, in the environment, in us. Protect us. Because we can't go out there unguarded. It just happened right out here where I'm at the hospital. A gunman came in and shot up a few people. I didn't get into all the details of the story, but it happened. You know, they say death comes like a thief in the night. And it also says how Satan is always roaming to look for who he can devour. There's always somebody out there looking for trouble. Look at what happened to young Carmelo Anthony, and we're going to talk about it. That was Satan. We're going to talk about Job. We're going to talk about the people in the Bible. We're going to talk about all of that. But I just wanted to give you an introduction of something and also explain to you why I'm giving you this introduction about why we should eh, give every morning we wake up our attention to God, call on our Father in heaven. And we all get ready to celebrate Father's Day this Sunday. So let's go over some things about fathers. Well, what kind of father you would think would be a hero for 2026? I'm going to say Carmelo Anthony's father, Andrew. Regardless of what people are saying, as a black father in America today and what he's dealing with. I'll give him a shout out for Father's Day. Hold on, my brother. So, with that being said, let's go into our Father's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. Give us this day our daily bread as we give those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thy you are the kingdom and the power and all the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And I ask God to watch over every black American family today. Keep them covered under the blood. Be a fence around them, be a tower over them. Protect them from whatever dangers are seen and unseen. Give them your traveling mercy and your traveling grace, Father God. For those who might be going through sickness right now, I ask that you will heal and touch and deliver them from whatever ailment is attacking their health. For those right now who's struggling with crack and cocaine addictions or any kind of addiction today, oh Lord, I ask that you remove that desire from them and that they will seek themselves into a place where they can be rescued, in a place where they can be reformed from their addictions. Oh, Father God, I just ask for every body today will have a child today. Watch over their children, Lord. Watch over the fathers, Lord. Watch over the brothers and the sisters in every part of this nation. This is my prayer today, and I seal and I deliver it in Jesus' name. Amen. And that's exactly how I feel today. That's why I wake up on this this worship Wednesday, and I'm going to talk about this. I believe Carmelo acted on self-defense, and they dismissed his self-defense claim. Now he has to go in and get an appeal, and they just knew what they were doing. God don't like ugly and don't care too much for pretty either. The more wickedness that these people are trying to put a burden on this family, they only gonna measure up to their own evil when it comes to it being returned. Listen to what I'm saying. For putting this family through the system like this, for their son who only had ever been in trouble with the Lord his first time, and it wasn't his intent to harm or hurt anybody. It wasn't his action to hurt anybody. Due to the fact that he was already invited under the ring. Why didn't Austin and Hunter show some kindness? Man, it's raining out there. Other than that, if it wasn't raining, then you might have to leave. But I see it's raining, so man, you could sit under this tent. Wouldn't that have been nice? we wouldn't have never had this problem. All you had to see that it was raining. Just like the stupid cross-examined prosecutor and gonna ask why didn't he leave? It's self-explanatory. It was raining. It was raining, and I was invited under the tent. He didn't have any reason to come over there to supervise me or give me any authority or anything or even put his hands on Carmelo. And plus, it was four of them against one person. So what I'm saying about all the details to that clown show or to that circus in court is injustice. God sees that as injustice. God is giving them time to get it right. Because by them trying to go and punish Carmelo, when God already justified the reason why Carmelo had to take the actions that he did. Carmelo got so many people out here praying for him. Forget about those fools on the internet thinking on the internet that God don't see their wicked deeds. God don't see their wicked actions. God don't know who they are. He doesn't know their address. He doesn't know the members in their family. He doesn't know their friends. He doesn't know their mother, their father, their sister, their brother, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? So everything that they trying to put out here on Carmelo will be what they will receive for themselves. Listen to what I'm saying, because that's how God works. Every evil tongue that condemned this young boy's life and future will be dealt with by God. And that is a promise. These are good, upholding citizens of the United States of America. Let's say that first. They deserve equal rights and equal justice just as much as any other citizen of the United States of these Americas. And what they did by giving this young man a record and putting on his file on in his 17th year when it happened, he was 17, he's 19, but just to make him carry such a burden, it's going to be their burden to carry, because they were supposed to carry it anyway, because they didn't prove their burden in the courthouse that Carmelo didn't act in self-defense. So they trying to flip this thing on Carmelo and go bully people on the internet and harass people on the internet to go along with they BS. But like I said, God knows all about it. And one thing I want to say, because of it being at a state level, it's not a federal charge. It's a state charge in Texas. So the only thing I could say from Texas, it ain't got nothing to do. It do, President Trump do have sort of kind of whatever, something to do with this. But then again, this was here before he became president for the second term, because I don't know if he appointed these people. I mean, these people were already there before President Trump got there. And don't think every white person likes President Trump. See, this is the tricky part about it. They will take something like this right now to make it look that way. And that's why I don't trust Jack Lang. Because he was just too bold out there with his picket sign with Charlie Kirk and also riding around with a Trump MAGA boss, and he's also was out there protesting on a Trump MAGA bus. He's been harassing black people in the community or whatever that was over there supporting Carmelo Anthony. He also was making statements out there in the public about unaliving and hanging and lynching and doing all kind of stuff to Carmelo Anthony. And like I said, not every loud voice out there being an extremist, white supremacist, is actually for the President of the United States. Sometimes people use that tactic to make you think. Because remember, President Trump pardoned this dude. He asked for a pardon. He got a pardon. But he's out there acting like that. Sometimes he have his little black little flunky around with him. Some other black dude that be running with him sometimes. That's just the cover up. That's just to throw you off and to distract you that, oh, it ain't racism. Just Carmelo is guilty. And there's black people that do believe that. And, some foreign adopted black boy, man, I'm really confused black man. And all of them that's out there that's saying stupid stuff like that. Somebody paying them, just like somebody paying the protesters that you find out there that go out and protest and unrest, and they say it's Antifa and all this other stuff. Somebody paying these platforms as well, these black MAGA platforms, these conservative black platforms anyway. Or they gave them a promise to help them in some kind of career advancement, something sort of that nature. Because ain't no way in the hell you can't be getting paid to be sitting around making the content and saying the things on discrediting Carmelo's claim of self-defense and the things you run around saying about Carmelo's family, being that you saw this go on in America over and over and over again, where black young boys get railroaded through the justice system, and also what happened to black men in the justice system. So there's no way you're going to sit up here and tell me y'all not getting paid by MAGA or some racist group that's paying you money to get on your platform to cause distraction, confusion, and chaos. I'm talking about people like Officer Tatum and this Whitlock guy and the rest of the coons out there sitting on, even some women, conservative black women. And I'm not going to go too much into their name because, you know who they are on these YouTube streets. You know who they are, and you know they being paid. They paid, they paid, and they can't afford to risk whatever going on in their life because the money is so good for them right now. And they can't afford to say, nah, I'm not going to take that money and put my hands on nothing that's going to do to hurt somebody innocent child. You understand what I'm saying? Or hurt somebody else's child, or to do that to that young, gifted black young man. I can't see myself doing that, regardless of how much the money is. I got kids. I don't, I wouldn't want, but no, they find every excuse in the book to be a part of it. They find every excuse in the book to be a part of it because of their greed and feel that they ambition, they greed and their ambition. That's all that comes before them. But then they want to put Christ in their mouth and claim they Christians. That's why you have to see the fruits they produce. You have to see their actions to order to know if they truly Christians. But they could get on their platforms and they could criticize every black ministry that they can find. And then on top of that, they could find any black politician they can find. They would distract you by tearing that person down. And that person could be somebody that's doing a bad thing, but that's just their way of how they trying to use this psychological game where they want to brainwash you, manipulate you. Media manipulation. They're going to show you somebody doing something that is a crime. And then they're going to try to use the stereotype. They keep the stereotypes going for massa and for white supremacy. This is what they do. These black people sitting on their platform, going inside your, what you call it, look at them. They have no backbone because they don't know Christ. They claim they do. They call him Lord, Lord, Lord. Get away from me. I don't know you. You're going to be hollering his name. But then again, you see them hanging, ready to lynch this young brothers and destroy his future. And you sitting around doing nothing but helping them. By putting out the false narratives and promoting the false propaganda, you doing nothing but helping them do the wicked, evil thing to your own people. And not only to your own people, but to you. Because that's what you see happening next to your son. Because you can't be around your children 24/7, no matter how grown, old they get. You always going to remember them as wrapped up as your little baby girl or baby boy. You don't want nobody to do this to your child. But you could get on the platform and make an excuse for somebody else to do it to somebody else's black and gifted son. And if your heart ain't touched by this, you have an unrepentant heart. See, America needs to repent. Because let me tell you something, to me, it wasn't a black and white thing, but it is a black and white thing now. Because like I said, the beginning when I looked at it, I tried to see it as accidental. He put his hands on him, and it was him against four others. So he didn't have a chance but to try to do something to get away. And Carmelo never got took to stand. And most of the people that sat up there and the jurors, they lied. They changed their stories. And the mother said they changed their stories. And we know they lied. And we know that they was intimidated. They lived there in Collins County. Or nearby Collins County. And that's a Klans town. Everything already showed you who they are and what happened and why their stories had to be changed. Because look at the jurors, the judge, the DA. Carmelo didn't even have a chance. Because it was Collins County and it's a Klans town. And being that it's a Klans town and everything else like that, they had these people's lives threatened if they spoke the truth. We know the playbook. We know the game. But see, God knows it too. And that's why God is allowing it to be exposed for people to see it and how he's going to destroy it in the same way. Back to Jack Lang. He was a troll, and he's there to set up things for MAGA. That's all he's doing. So this can go against President Trump and MAGA in 2028. And they're going to use it. The Democrats. Or whoever Trump enemies are. That's all I'm saying. Because ain't no way in the world you're going to be in favor of somebody and you really want them to stay in power. That you would take a bus to a place to bring attention to them in something that is racially highly racially, you know, motivated, highly racially motivated. You're going to take a bus of that person you're in support of, and you're going to put it in that environment and make it look like, oh, you for the better of greatness of America. Around all of that's nonsense and yelling racial slurs, connecting that person to these kind of activities or these type of in this kind of social around this kind of social event or social climate of racism or whatever. You're gonna take something that right there should tell you this man Jack Lang, and then he was looking for um being some kind of elected official and some kind of leadership from President Trump. I think some kind of position, or governor position, or senator position. This is what they do in white supremacy. They're going to put as many as they can of them in power to destroy you or to make your life miserable. But God going to change all of that because there's so many white people now seeing this evil, this ugliness, and don't want to be like them or even misidentified as one of them. So when they go around here thinking they're going to hide behind their wickedness and do things from that level of power, since we can't get to you because you already can identify who we are, but that don't mean we can't get to you. Get my drift? And there's so many white people now who have become our friends. And they watching you and they giving back information over here to us. So like, and you trying to silence them. You trying to silence the Samuel's Secret Sam service guy. You trying to silence that other white guy, but there's so many more of them. They probably right there next to you. That's the funny part about white supremacists. Just because somebody looks like you may not even be you. Be there really with you or with your evil actions. So be careful about how you trying to harm black lives that speaking the truth, and how you trying to harm set up a plan to harm Carmelo Anthony. Eventually somebody gonna be singing like a bird and they gonna give all the details and tell everything. And you know what, guess what? They go in some secret hiding places or some custody where they be taken care of very well because God will check out. God will make sure they safe. Not man, but God will. It's because of their good Samaritan work and for their good deeds and for their good heart. God will protect them from the wicked. There's always a good, where there's evil, good is there too. Always remember that. That's why when you know Jesus, you try not to wish nobody no harm. And when you do judge a situation, especially when you wasn't a witness to it, use good judgment. Use good value judgment. But if if Jeff McCleff's son Austin would have lived, I'm sure the racist family would have been expanding and expanding. But Hunter has a chance. Even if it's in him, Hunter has a chance. But Jeff McCleff, oh, I don't know. He first came and lied and said that how he forgive and how he this and that and Christian man. There's some things God don't allow to be forgiven. There are some things God don't allow to be forgiven. Blasphemy, especially when you lie on his name. You got in front of people with your Christian talk and said all of these other things that you didn't wish happened, then you couldn't wait to get really what you wanted to say out. You see? And people like that will never be allowed to be close to me. I don't give a fuck how much sorry they said, whatever. I won't care. He will never be in my space or at the cookout. And there's just certain things God just don't forgive for. If people read their Bible, keep his name out your filthy mouth. You don't belong to the kingdom of his. Never did. And God is plucking them out, y'all. Because what's in the heart, it flows. Life flows from the heart. And what he said, he was a wolf in sheep clothing trying to cover it up. But the real wolf showed out. Okay? That was truly who he was. He wanted to get it out so bad because he's part of the clans. And I called that out from day one. Before the trial, before everything, when I saw them photos of them in that camouflage holding those rifles, I knew right then and there they were being trained as white supremacists. Because white supremacist children, they like to take those photos in camouflage and rifles. And let's go hunt some you know what. Okay? That's the symbol. Because you got to understand that God didn't give them the gifts that he given us. And that's why we have no weapons here on earth. All our fights come and our battles and our weapons form from heaven. You see, so that's why you got to say in your Father's prayer, Father, forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation. You start with our Father's prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Then say, our Father down here on earth. No, in heaven. And that's the thing. When you don't call on him for your protection, he can't protect you. You just going out there, la, 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 and boom. Because that morning when Carmelo went out there, whatever like that, somebody prayed for him, whether he knew it or not. Because it could have been Carmelo and not Austin. You get what I'm saying? The hedge of protection was around him. And God was there. Even though people going to say, oh, he's in jail, but still and all. God allowed that to happen so he can expose them. So every bad thing that is happening as this young man going through this trial, follow the Spirit. While God is leading him down his path of righteousness. For his name's sake. That's where you come in with Psalms 23. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I should fear no evil, for thou you are with me. You see, God gave us all the communication we need in the scriptures to direct them to him. So whatever Carmelo's going through as far as every trial is showing who they are and their character. God allowed it to happen so we can see it in real life. right here on earth. And now that you see it, how he could get you around it, over it, and under it. Because what you got to do is you got to continue to stay daily in prayer. And he'll show you something new every day. Something else exposed, exposed, exposed. Because none of those people around Trump is his friends, to be honest with you. If he say whatever for the black people, the white people gonna be mad. He say what he ever gonna say for the white people, then the black people gonna be mad. If he said, no matter what he say at this point, it's up to who's sitting in governor, and who's sitting in sheriff, and all of those other people in that little slow local town in Collins County. Because Trump is not God, and no matter what he say, people are just not going to do what is right. He's just right now just a bid over this nation, to watch over this nation, whatever. Just like when I try to tell you the story of King Nebuchadnezzar. God chooses whoever he wants. But being that Trump had so much of so influence and association with people like them, okay, he has to be the one chosen to watch over this nation. And wherever you see these clowns doing in their actions and they words and they deeds, and being that Trump is the president of the United States, that they feel because he probably had some association, they could get close to him because they white privileged and everything. But let me tell you something. They only doing it and being exposed. Every white person that is acting out of conduct while President Trump is president of the United States and they not doing everything, they not hiding it, that should tell you something. Those are the white supremacists that been exposed. Those are the white supremacists that teach your children in school. Those are the white supremacists that handle your money in your financial institutions. This corporate bankers and all of those people, the brokers and all they all over. And if they treated you in a misconduct and they trying to act in a shady way now, and before they used to be so nice and friendly and talk to you and haha and tell you little corny jokes in the fax room, whatever, in the office, you're gonna start seeing when you start seeing their attitude acting a little different than how they usually used to have conversations with your black ass, then you know they've been a white supremacist all along. They've been a white supremacist all along. Because once people who have genuine care and love for you, they be real with you. Even on such conversations like this. Yeah, that damn white boy was wrong. That's what my aunt, she's married to and she been married to him for years. He said they should have. He said what he was mad. That's why I say they can't put us back in no goddamn chains. Don't listen to that so called what they call going back. God don't take people back. He take them, move them forward, and he corrects things from the past. He take us from it and he corrects it, and then we move on. See, right now this needs to be corrected in America. And don't look at it as a bad thing. Look at it as a good thing. Nobody got to go out there and shoot nobody. You ain't got to kill nobody. You ain't make no kind of bodily harm threat to nobody because they speaking the truth. Just take it. Just take it. It ain't going to feel good. But eventually, as you meditate on it more and you try to weigh it out and wrestle it, then you'll get the understanding of it. That's all it is. Some people just too lazy to use their brain. They too lazy to sit down and try to sort things out and try to see, well, before they just jump on the bandwagon and be a groupie and to be a bully with the bullies. Nah, you don't do that. I never liked that stuff. I don't do the bully stuff. I always went for the underdog. That just shows you my character. I don't do the bully stuff. And I think the bully stuff is wrong. Real bullies. The story of David and Goliath was about a bully. You got bullies on the job. You got bullies everywhere. Bullies in the playground on your children and everything. Because I never forget when I used to take my nephew, I'd take him out to the playground to play and play with other children when he was with me because I had no children. But the playground was his place to find friends and play on the playground with his peers, his age. To have other children to play with. So it was this one kid, bad little hood rat, gonna snap. Because I lived in the Bronx, and in that area was considered the urban areas of the Bronx. It was urban. It wasn't really ghetto, but it was urban. So anyway, we went to the playground. A young boy took my nephew's bat, didn't want to give it back, and my nephew had to come to me and ask me to get the bat. And I asked the kid, I said, "Is that your bat?" He said, "No." I said, "Who bat does it belong to?" He pointed to my nephew, and I said, "Could you give him back his bat, please?" And then I asked, "Where's his mother?" His mother looked over to me, and I said, "Yeah, he took my nephew's back. I'm just telling the children how to play nice with each other." And he said, "Oh, Dante, you better give back that boy." She saw it all along and didn't say nothing of her child on the playground being a bully. Right there, grooming her child to take another child, something from another child, without correcting it. So it goes on and on and on. And this is what happened with the white supremacists. It's been going on and on and on and on, and people are afraid of them because they walk around with the influence that they have, white supremacy, and of course they made they white Jesus. You know that right there makes them feel so pure and so so virgin and so right because of the complexion. The right protection comes before the protection, and these people worship whiteness, image, and God said, "Make no graven image of him." And he also said, "Worship no other God but him, the true and living God, the God that pours inside of you each and every day that you wake up and you go to work and you go do whatever you do throughout the day. The same God that gives you chance after chance after chance. We don't worship no man because anytime you go wrong with men, men want to take your life. But God is a merciful God. God is a good God. God is a God that gives you grace and favor. So, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, KC? Or what I'm talking about is that y'all go around on these YouTube channels, y'all go around listening to all these media outlets and all this other stuff. Listen to God. Just turn down the noise. Get away from it. Talk, hold, this family in your prayers. You go to the Word of God, and He will open up and show you His face, and He will show you how He's working it out. They did it to R. Kelly for time and time again. I've been trying to tell R. Kelly supporters, calm down, y'all. Stop all that noise on the internet. But all y'all doing is gonna make it look bad because we are representing him, and the people that represent the person that they love, you're gonna put yourself in their shoes, and you're gonna put nothing but your best character before you on the sake of your loved one or to represent your loved one. When you out here acting ratchet and ghetto and doing all of this other stuff, then you ain't fighting for Carmelo. You're not fighting for Carmelo. What you're fighting for is justice. And what you're fighting for America. You ain't fighting for America if you out here acting a fool. Put it that way. Not just only Carmelo, but for America by helping to save America is to fix the broken justice system. Because that's where it all comes from. The justice system. When they could get that justice system right, then America can get right with Congress, because those are where all the lawmakers sit at. And when they could get on those 3 tiers, forget about what's going on in all these foreign countries. That's not shouldn't be our concern. You go there, you do business with them. That's it. You don't go try to build over there in their land and do all of this other stuff because we shouldn't allow that even in America. Okay? Ain't no one man show. It's supposed to get around for everybody to get a chance to get a slice of the pie and be part of the dream. It ain't just one man's show. One man want to grab and hog up everything so he can try to think he's the ruler and the king of this world. God rules over this world and the heavens too. Okay? And what we supposed to do as we live down here as his supposedly children is supposed to share, care, love one another, and be good to one another. And if you find yourself can't do any of that, then maybe he will remove you from this land because you too tired to love and to show kindness and to see others as yourself. When you get to that point where you don't want to be bothered with nobody and you don't want to care about nothing that happens in this world, you become stone. And it's time for you to be buried in your rest in place. You can't live without love or you dry up. You dry up. And the world is starting to become so ugly with love. Nobody deserves a second chance. Just send them in jail and just slam the door and just kick them away, throw them away. Even the good ones. But the justice system is broken and it needs to be fixed. And how can we fix it? You got to get these people out of power. You got to get these people out of power. The people that sit in those courthouses, those people that sit as your senators, your mayors, your whatever. You got to get these people out of power. I don't care if they're an attorney, if you sit in that courthouse and you one of those intern people practicing on your way of practicing law and everything and you sitting in there, yeah, you got to get these people out of power. That's the only way you can fix the system. And for this happening is where you have to get rid of that judge, that district attorney, that mayor, anybody a part of that town who's been there, how many years they've been working in that place? Were they appointed there by under the Trump administration? Did they come in under the Trump? Do your research and find out who they are. Collins County, which where the trial wasn't supposed to be anyway. It was supposed to be in Denton County because somebody came and told them that Frisco is Denton County, not Collins County. It's closer to Denton County. So why did they take it all the way to that sundown town? Because that's where Jeff McClellan had most of his connections to his brotherhood. You see what I'm saying? They get mad about the brothers having their fraternities and everything, but look, they got their brotherhood too. The KKK is a brotherhood, and that's why they'll be scared when the black man rise and he come out of his organizations. Oh, they ain't gonna want to see that. They don't want to see those black men rise in their brotherhood, and then the sisters in their organization when they start stomping up. I don't know if these ones are trained well, but when they start making they statement, they got their brotherhood too. They got their sisterhood too. Everything they got over there, we got it over here too. Only thing we don't run is the United States military. That's it. That's all we don't got. We don't have the United States military, but we still got an army. We got the Black Panthers. You got the Pan Africans. You got I already said the fraternities, the black fraternities and brotherhood. You got the Nation of Islam. So everything that they got, we got. We not worrying about. We are Americans. I ain't running nowhere. We don't flee. We fight. We don't flee. We don't run. All we do is stand in our ground and our land, because that's where this is home. Is this land do belong mostly to us. Okay? But we just allowed you to have that international influence where you can go around the world with white supremacy and tell everybody how good and saint and how much of a saint y'all are, and then they know the real deal because people kicking you out of places even in white countries. They don't want you there. Everybody's taking back their true identity. They don't want to be caught up with no KKK. For real. They told Ivana Trump and her husband to get the step in. I'm not lying. It's on the news. I'm not going to get into all that trying to show you guys, but let me get myself together on my Worship Wednesday. But I just wanted to come with my protest this morning. I believe Carmelo acted on self-defense, and I wanted to put that Kyle Rittenhouse and Daniel Penny are murderers. Okay? They're murderers. You see, and the same people that they released out of those jails I'm sorry, protected from going to jail and hitting them with a murder charge for them. Kyle Rittenhouse got second degree murder. Daniel Penny should have had first degree. And it is what it is. Because of the nature of the crime that they committed. It wasn't self-defense at all. Nobody came up to them and attacked them. They went and attacked the people. Okay? Totally different. One with a rifle, and he traveled across state lines. The other one, he shouldn't have done what he did because he wasn't told to do it, and he wasn't no police force, but he was a Marine. And being a Marine and everything, his body was a weapon. And the man wasn't using no weapon. The man wasn't coming at him in any kind of way to harm him or harm anybody. So he's a murderer. Okay? He's a murderer. And they let these people go walk free. But see, the thing is that I don't support no evil. The same way these same white supremacists that thought it was cool that it was a black man who was killed and these men should be able to get off. These going to be the same men that come and kill them because this is what they asked for. They didn't want to see a black man because he was black to get justice. That's it. That's all. But the same injustice is coming to their lives and they don't even see it. They don't see if it's going to be one of their sons or one of Kyle or Daniel Penny doing it to one of them. And that's all I'm going to say because this is what they asked for when they knew in their hearts this man was innocent, Carmelo Anthony, and they knew in their heart that these men murdered. And they did it out of premeditation murder and also intent. I rest my case. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful Wednesday.